Well, little smokies, we find ourselves back at this place again. Old YouTube. You guessed it. We didn't do the math right on the bi weekly thing. Turns out we did record it bi weekly, however, didn't have it published in time. We can chalk that up to poor math skills on our part. However, I'd like to welcome you back. Today's episode's going to be something that's been quite the buzz. I'm sure you guys have seen it somewhere around here, Blake Lively and such. So we're going to take a look at what our thoughts are around that. A little disorganized as per usual, but you know what you get here. Welcome back, and let's go ahead and get into it.
Hello.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome. Sorry. I think I have a form of Tourette's. I'm just gonna say it.
I'm not okay. First of all, I think you should be clinically diagnosed before you self-diagnose. I don't think that.
That's what WebMD told me.
Okay, well, that's where we started at the wrong place. See, we don't go to WebMD to determine, behavioral, psychological, or even physical ailments. We don't.
You never use WebMD?
I do, but I also don't go, well, it said I've got the cancer, so this is it. I'm just gonna quit my job and, I guess
That
this
would be
is it.
so unfortunate.
Turns out you just have some bad gas.
Yeah.
And you just quit your job. You spent all of your savings, assuming one has something like that to work with.
Right. I do not.
Hey, help everybody know what's that in the back you got there? Is that the Last Supper or what are your? Oh,
They're
look at it.
friends. This
That
is
does not look like
this
any of the characters. Not that I've watched the show, but
You've never watched Friends?
no, can't say I have.
It's got everybody.
Who's the chef on the show?
Phoebe, Monica, Rachel,
You say
Chandler,
that like it's
Joey, Ross.
in all of the clips I've seen, and I don't think I've ever seen Monica in a
That's what
chef's
she
outfit.
does. You know what else I have?
It's got to be appropriate. Oh, yes, I do like that. Mhm.
It's gotta be appropriate. What do you think I'm bringing out here?
I don't know. Well, and then I'm like, yeah, that's perfectly acceptable, and it's a jar of Twix. Like, that
All
works
right,
well.
tell us what's on the docket today.
On the docket. Thank you all for joining us. Welcome to. I don't know if you noticed how I labeled this. Did you notice how
No.
I labeled the room for us?
Season 2? Oh, no.
No.
Where is it?
It's up
Hot
at the
dogs
top.
and milk. Nope, I don't see anything.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I did this just for you. Go ahead and check your teams real quick on how I labeled this.
Episode 2, Season 2. That's not right.
I was hoping you could see it, and I'm disappointed. So I'm gonna
It's not. It
make
doesn't
you see it
flow.
anyway.
It's
It doesn't
Season
flow.
2, Episode 2. That's what it should be.
Well, I did do it on the notes. And the notes do say on the docket that we are going to be discussing the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation.
Yeah.
So before we dive into it, I have to ask you, are you Team Blake or Team Justin?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. I didn't like Blake Lively from the beginning. I knew she was lying. I
So are
haven't
you
liked
saying
her
from the
since
beginning of the
Sister
situation or
in
forever?
Life. I didn't like her in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Nope.
I can't say that realistically, I did watch It Ends With Us. but I have not watched a whole lot of Blake Lively material or really even knew who
Gossip
she
Girl?
was. No.
Yeah, she gives me the ick.
So you're not Team Blake?
No.
Okay. I am not Team Blake either. I was hoping we might have, like, a 50-50 on this so
No.
then we can but I think it's just
I
things
can't
look too
even
poor.
pretend.
No. Me you're
And
not getting paid to pretend here, it's fine.
I really was not liking her because I read the book, It Ends With Us, and then watched
Oh,
the movie twice, 2 times, and
it was
she
so
ruined
good you
it for
watched it
me.
twice? Oh, wait a second. How many times did you read the book?
I actually read the book and then I listened to it.
So twice, so 2 for 2.
Yeah,
Why'd you go back to the movie if you hated it?
'cause it was free on Netflix and,
Oh.
got nothing else to do.
You got Squid Games on there, you got all sorts of stuff. You could rinse and repeat something over. Um, uh, so I did watch It Ends With Us. I felt it was only appropriate considering, we're doing this whole story. I did watch it with Nick. I'm gonna have to admit something. I was very confused for a little bit watching it because I did not
That's what
read the
you're
book.
supposed to be confused.
It looked like a series of unfortunate events. You know?
Yeah.
He got burned and reacted, and she got knocked.
Oh, God. Hold it. Wait, you're gonna stick your hand in there?
Well, I mean, yeah, the stairwell situation.
To see him?
Stop! No, Lily, stop!
No, please just listen to me, please.
Promise me,
I
Lily.
didn't know he was coming.
Stop.
Just talk to me.
Stop.
Baby, please, just
Stop.
stop. You stop.
Stop.
Please don't.
All these times, I ended up pausing it at one point and asking Nick. I was like, "Are we gonna get to the part where, like, he's a bad guy?" Because I feel like this series of unfortunate events, and this is supposed to be like, where is and then I felt like a complete dumbass.
Dumbass!
As you should.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your honesty. I
You
did
know
not
who,
realize
I liked
did they do the
Atlas. Did they what?
did they do that in the book where they made it seem like it was an accident, but then later revealed it,
Kind
or was that
of,
just
not
something
really. No, it's kind of more like in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it tricked me. It had me fooled, and I did like the kid, that was the good guy.
Atlas?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, dude, I watched it once. I didn't read the book twice and listen to it and then watch a movie I hated multiple times. I just, I didn't hate it. I think it was a decent movie. I thought it was a decent film. I will say I was very confused, not knowing anything about this movie, not knowing anything about all of this stuff, really at that point when I watched it. I was like, what's with the wardrobe? I'm no fashionista. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some fashion queen myself. However, what was happening?
Well, that's part of why people were mad at her because she dressed nothing like the character would have dressed like.
So what did they say in the book? What was she supposed to look like in the book?
I don't know. Not like that. Literally, literally could have been anyone else and it probably would have been better.
I just like the outfit she was wearing, and maybe it's like rich people stuff or whatever, or
Her
fashion.
hair and that when she goes to the party when it's all poofy.
Oh, what was that? I'm like, this poor woman got electrocuted before this scene, and they forced her. That's what this lawsuit's going to be about, right? Has to be.
Yeah.
Or they forced her to wear these ugly outfits.
They were bad.
It was bad. It was really even the rooftop scene where she's like wearing. Look, I grew up on a
Oh, the
ranch doing
coveralls.
stuff outside. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have a Carhartt. Trust me, I get that whole aesthetic, but that's not the aesthetic. And someone like that's not gonna be roaming around in Carhartts.
Yeah.
I I was just so confused. So nonetheless, I did think that that Justin Blake, the movie itself, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't
No,
bad. It wasn't anything like, "Oh my
it
god."
was bad.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would give it a C.
out of a 10. Let's give it out of a 10. What are we putting it?
A 60.
I said out of a 10. So a 6.
I was already going to the other math.
I got you, dude. I got you. So so better than bad, but not, a 6 would be. I'd say it'd probably be a 6 for me too, 6 or a 7. I'm not ever gonna watch it again, but I wasn't mad at it. I've had some real movies that I've been mad at before.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that leads us to what all of this whole discussion is gonna be about, which is those two individuals, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who filmed all of this together. And well, if you don't know by now, shit's hitting the fan, so to
Yeah,
speak. Mhm.
sure is.
So, here's the deal. Justin Baldoni is that an owner or he owns Wayfair
Right.
Studios. Yeah.
Oh.
And so he got the rights to this novel, the book you read. And so he fought for many years. According to the things that were filed on Justin's side, it took like 5 years for him to get the rights to the book, work with Colleen, all of those things. And then because Colleen Hoover is the author of the book,
Yeah.
and then start getting everything in line to get production going. So he gets the rights to this movie and casts things out, and Blake Lively is cast as the lead. I don't remember what the lead's name. What was the lead's name? Oh,
Lily.
Lily. That's right. The flower thing. Okay.
Lily
I could have
Bloom.
remembered that.
Lily Bloom and Bloom or something dumb.
Did she change it like that? Or did they like make it like
That was what it was. Lily Daisy
okay.
Bloom? I don't remember. You think I
So
would?
well, yeah, you read the book multiple times, you watched the movie multiple times. I feel like you should be an expert at this point, if anything. Like, so the thing that's important to know about this is something that Justin worked for many years to get the rights to this and be able to produce this, something he felt strongly about. And then insert Blake Lively. So at first, everything was great, right? They talked with each other. They were discussing the film. He was saying he would give her some creative liberties because she had disclosed to him that she wasn't always provided that in other projects that she had
Yeah.
worked on. And he was like, okay, I'm going to work with you. And I don't think that you should have ever been shut out before and all this stuff, right? Well, once this film wraps and the press release starts, all of the press that's being done for this, you'll see a lot of times like Blake Lively with the guy who plays Atlas, I guess. But you don't see a lot of press with Blake and Justin.
Right.
And unbeknownst to us at the time, it's because there was some sort of arrangement that they wouldn't be doing press together. Now, what's interesting about that is Blake has now filed a lawsuit. But before she filed this lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and all of the stuff, she actually first filed a complaint. And so
To who?
that was to Uno Momento.
Also, Blake's press for that movie was awful.
God awful. It was all promotion
Because
for her brand.
yeah, she's like, "Go get your girlies and wear your flowers to go watch this movie about DV."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's an impactful story that could have gone in a much different direction, and I think the film could have been and would have been much better if she hadn't intervened from at least what's been disclosed up to this point. That's what they're saying.
Right.
She put her little pesky nose into a lot of things. So, she had originally, filed, I believe it was just a complaint, with the where is it? California Civil Rights
Complaints
Department.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah, close it up. So she filed a complaint, and that claim was actually filed, in December, and there was no lawsuit, and then all of a sudden it moved into a lawsuit territory. And this was also after she had worked with the New York Times to publish an article about the mistreatment she had experienced,
Yes.
all of the negative press, all of that stuff, right? Because essentially what was happening was this movie was being released, as you stated. A lot of her press was terrible. A lot of her promotions for the film were terrible. And that was her own doing.
You poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. What is it like to...
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. I haven't slept in like a lot of time.
But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, be able to talk to you about this, how would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
And because of that, being a public figure, people start digging. They start looking into things, and they found old interviews, old interactions, other things that Blake has done previously that are incredibly questionable, heartless, all of the things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's ranging from, what was that one lady that was interviewing her, and then she had made a comment about her baby bump and
Oh, yeah, I
struggling
watched
with
that.
infertility. Not good, dude. We'll
No,
insert
no.
that little clip here.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
congrats on your little bump. What about my bump?
And then
Enter a clip here. I was pointing to the clip.
oh, a little take up our holes. It'll take up the whole.
Oh, okay. Okay, rewind. Okay, good.
So she apparently first filed the claim against Justin, and then that complaint was then escalated to federal court with being, filing like an actual lawsuit. But the thing is that she had worked with the New York Times to publish this article saying that she was being defamed. So she had all this negative press around how terrible her her publicity was for this movie. And then everybody starts digging up all of these times that Blake was really terrible. And she could never believe, this is the way I'm interpreting it. It's like she could never believe that people would see the terrible human being she really is. And
Right.
so it must be a setup.
Of course.
So she works with the New York Times to publish this article that includes text messages, actual text messages. One would say receipts.
Yes.
What's crazy about this, though, is Justin Baldoni is now filing a countersuit against her for $400 million for a multitude of reasons, which we'll get into. $400 million.
Oh, that's better.
Which he seems like a really nice guy. If he wants to throw us a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. But it was all edited. All of these messages that were put out and published in the New York Times, they had been edited. And what's crazy is that allegedly Blake had been working with the New York Times for quite some time before the article was actually published. And they should have vetted it. They should have vetted the material. They should have vetted to see if anything was edited, and they didn't.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake.
It
I think also when you're someone who's that powerful, because you can't discredit the fact that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, especially as a couple, are incredibly powerful in Hollywood.
I liked Ryan Reynolds.
I did, but there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out recently where I'm like, so
Yeah.
we'll get into some of that stuff here in a second. But essentially, Blake's current lawsuit now is currently listed for unspecified damages, which means she didn't request a specific amount, which she's not looking for that, right? She's trying to, in my opinion, rectify her image because it was going so poorly. How can
Yeah.
she deflect? What can she do to get things to go back, turn the tides, so to speak. So, um, some lawmakers are saying she could get up to $10 million based on the listed unspecified damages, which
$1 million.
she's worth 30 million alone herself. And that's nothing in comparison to her husband, who is worth $350 million. So
Oh.
her suing Justin has nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
No, it's
No,
all,
she's
I
trying
mean,
to save face.
maybe like in an indirect way, right? Like, because
Yeah.
down the line it would impact their money, but up front, like, I just want to take money from you. No, that's not it. So
Yeah.
for Blake Lively's lawsuit, before I start going into all this allegedly my opinion stuff, which I already did, sorry about that, everyone. Her lawsuit is saying that there were nude videos that were shared, inappropriate nude videos, and images of women with her,
Oh, I did
discussing
read that.
discussions around.
Not just in the notes either, before that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, so discussions around pornography addiction, um, actual like descriptive scenes, intimacy scenes that they had, talks about sexual conquests, mentioning cast and crews in the, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
If you guys
nice
don't
sound
know.
effects.
Yeah. Yeah, it was quality, right? And then of course, also mentioning questions around her weight and also mentioning her deceased father. I don't know what that was
That's
about.
weird.
I didn't find much about that, but inquiring about her weight, now that one's big. So there's quite a few messages that were shared in the New York Times article. And like I said, a lot of those were edited, which we've now found out after the fact. But when this article first came out and when all of this started, it was crazy immediately. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but everybody was coming out like, "Oh my gosh, she's a victim of, you
Yes.
know, harassment in the workplace
Yeah.
and all of these things." And if true, absolutely atrocious, abhorrent behavior. Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? But it turns out that Justin and his team came out after the suit was filed and everything started. He decided, I'm going to file my own lawsuit. And he files a lawsuit for $400 million against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of defamation and extortion.
Well, you know what's kind of shitty? Oh, can I say that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're not monetized.
Okay. Is that he was probably so proud of this movie and all of this, like, overshadows it now because
This
he
is a
probably
huge
worked.
project for him.
Yeah, now it's, like, all overshadowed by all this stuff that Blake did,
Yeah.
which is crappy.
Well, what's funny is that he is claiming defamation, which is because of the claims that she's making around the way he was interacting with her on film and all of that, but also the extortion piece. Now, that's interesting, right? But it's because they had continued to twist Justin's arm multiple times around filming changes, costume changes, filming edits, composers for the film, all sorts of stuff. There were interactions where they had met with Ryan Reynolds and Blake. Justin had gone to their penthouse to have a meeting, and she had had a party and a group of people there. Taylor Swift was a part of that. He arrives. They're still having the get together. Ryan and him start having a discussion, and Taylor also comes in and starts discussing
You
about this scene.
leave her name out of this.
Did you
You will
see
not
the?
you will not speak ill of Taylor Swift.
Okay, let's get this out of the way here. Do you think T Swift, old
She's an
Teabag,
angel.
has
She's
okay?
an angel.
She and Jessica Biel can't be angels. You gotta pick one. Who's
I
better?
pick Taylor Swift. Taylor
Oh my
Swift.
All right.
But go
Well,
ahead with your question.
do
No, I don't
you
think she did anything wrong. But go ahead. I'll try to
no
have an open
questions, no
mind.
further questions, Your Honor.
I'll try to have an open mind. She didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. So Ryan had proposed to make a change to this rooftop scene. You've seen it, the rooftop scene. I'll put a little picture somewhere around in here so you guys can see what we're talking about. Apparently, this was supposed to go one way. Ryan had requested to make some changes to do it another. They shot both of them. They filmed both of them.
Yes.
They ended up finding an in-between point of using the rooftop scene, and that was it. Well, when trying to propose this, Ryan essentially in this little meeting, I guess, was like, "You should do this because Blake's a creative genius," when in reality it was him that had written that scene. And then Taylor shows up, and according to Justin, you're gonna have to work through this. It can happen. When you find out that Taylor was like the star at Diddy's parties, you're gonna be
She would never. She would never.
she's
No.
not dating the best individual, you know that, right? And I'm not even just saying it because it's Kansas City, and I'm just saying Travis Kelce as an individual is kind of
He's just a dum
a
dum.
trash can.
Yeah.
Well, that's a way to describe
But
it.
may I make a point that the other Kelsey brother is not? I like him.
Oh, okay. Well,
Jason.
he wasn't involved in this. Plus, I don't think he came up in the lawsuit. But either way, your best friend Taylor also allegedly showed up and put some creative pressures. Now, there wasn't anything that I found. I tried to see if I could find anything. Maybe I'm
She
just
didn't
blind.
do it. Or you're blind. You know what?
You know what? I just feel like sometimes I'll just, we'll just pack it up, just. So I couldn't find anything around like her being aggressive with him by any means, but also saying like, no, you should make these changes. And you have to think, I'm sure you've been in this position before when you're around powerful individuals or someone who is of higher power. And Taylor Swift, as much as I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, I can still recognize she's one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
Ever.
Would you? Okay. Well, sure. Fair. But would you not feel a little pressured if she was like, you should do this? And so maybe in that moment, Justin didn't. But later that evening, Blake decides to send him a message, or maybe it's the next day or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. After that conversation, Blake messages Justin and says, well, yeah, these are, starts talking about her dragons and being the Khaleesi and all of this crap. Now, I know you didn't watch Game of Thrones. All right. So you read the book and did all the things. I'll take this one. I'm not sure if Blake. Oh, by the way, you read the book twice. Allegedly, Blake didn't even read the effing book.
I did hear that. That's not good. That's probably why she dressed like she did.
Oh, I don't know. Apparently, that's some of her personal clothes. So
It's unfortunate.
I don't know what happens to people. You get money and you're just dumb or what, dude? Like, they're like,
Yeah.
it looks cute. I'm like, it looks like a curtain.
Yeah.
A literal curtain. Some of the
For
stuff.
sure.
But anyway, she texts him about all of this stuff, talking about how she has, she's like the Khaleesi and she has these dragons and they are her dragons. And that's Ryan Reynolds and Taylor. And here's a couple of things. Fun fact. Two of the three dragons Khaleesi has dies. So I'm not really sure
Ruined it
what
for me.
you were not going to watch that. And second, she goes insane and burns the entire city and all of the innocent people down. So
Well, maybe it's
does
a
she?
foreshadow. Foreshadowing?
Yeah, you're right. You're right on that.
Hmm.
A little bit. Maybe she didn't know All I know is that she sends that message, and that to me kind of solidifies that she was doing that on purpose too, as a form of intimidation. And that's where the extortion kind of comes in, along with a few other things.
I have a question.
Yes.
It has to do with Sunday, which will be in the past when people listen to this, but the Super
This
Bowl.
coming Sunday? Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
But
where are we
it'll
going?
be in the do you think Taylor Swift will invite Blake Lively to her Super Bowl box? Because she went last year. And
Was she in the Super Bowl box?
yes, with Ice Spice. And
That's right.
I heard on the streets that Blake was trying to go to the last game that Kansas City played, and Taylor said no, because if she brings Blake, she's making a stand. So, stance? Stand.
Taking a stance or making a stand? You gotta
Oh.
pick one. You halfway. So, if that's the case, then I would say if she wasn't allowed to go to the championship game, she's not gonna be able to go to the Super Bowl.
Gonna go either.
Now, better question, do you think she asked after she was already told no?
Probably. I just saw it today. I was watching the videos on it.
So, do you think it would be bad if she did go?
Yes.
What do you think if she does go? What is your stance on
I
Taylor?
don't
Does it
think
change?
she's no. She's an angel. I already told you that. If
If Taylor Swift came out and said, "I did pressure Justin to do these things, I
I
did,"
would
and
forgive
especially
her.
to speak about the composer, you would forgive her.
I would. We all make mistakes. Taylor does too.
Okay. Oh gosh.
I
Okay,
don't think she's
so
gonna go. I don't think she's gonna go.
I don't think she is either. I think Taylor can see what's happening. I don't think
Yeah.
Taylor is stupid, or Taylor's team
No.
for that matter, at least. And I think she's like, "Ugh, this isn't, I don't wanna be part of this."
Yeah. It's
Like,
not good.
no, thank you.
Nope.
Well, another interesting thing that might sway you on the Taylor thing, the Tay-Tay thing.
I don't think so.
Probably not, but I'm gonna try.
Try me.
So, allegedly, while this film was shooting or whatever, while this whole thing was happening, so was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes. Never watched it.
Ryan Reynolds specifically reached out to Justin Baldoni and asked him if they could postpone filming because he didn't want to be too far away from his wifey. Now, this makes me think that there's something with Ryan, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Justin makes it work. Ryan's happy, all of the things. Well, it gets like a couple weeks before they're supposed to be finishing up editing, and something comes up where the composer, Blake makes the suggestion that they use the composer from Deadpool and Wolverine to do the films, all the music, all the composing, whatever composers do, you know?
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is allegedly that original composer was someone who had worked with Taylor Swift, and Taylor didn't like them because they were mean to her. And so they requested, okay, so there was a Reddit post. So there was a Reddit post back in August before any of this stuff happened where somebody had said anonymously that they had intel from behind the scenes on the set from someone who was actually there involved in all of this and saw all of the things that were happening and actually came forward about the composer's story. They didn't cite who the composer was, but they had said that Taylor, they were mean to her at one point, and so Blake, Ryan, and everybody else had demanded that they change the composer, and they suggested to use the Deadpool Wolverine composer. Well, what's crazy about this is that was in August that they said that. Months later, the composer from Deadpool and Wolverine does an interview talking about the "it ends with us composing" that he did, and that he had received a message from Ryan and Blake asking him if he would do that work and see if he could get it done within 2 weeks, a week or 2. And he was like, "That's a short timeline." I don't know what all goes into it, but I imagine a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know about that." And so he said, "I can do it, but it's gonna take me longer." And he said he got it done in like a month and a half. But nonetheless,
3
that
days
happened.
or 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it was like at the very end, a production is not going to not have all of these roles filled
Right.
before they start. So why would they be swapping it out so close to the end? And when you take the article or this post that somebody put on Reddit in August, before any of the everybody, as far as we were concerned, Blake and Justin were best friends. You know what I mean? Like we didn't know anything was bad between them.
They got some bad blood? Or no?
Sometimes I feel like we borderline the kunk, the the kunk English lady who does the history, you know?
A building is anything that anyone has built.
So my shoes are a building. How many three wise men were there?
Who knows?
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of borderline that sometimes with our material, like so I think that's interesting and is a little bit more damning on the Taylor Swift side of things.
Taylor Swift's reputation couldn't be worse, so you gotta like her for her. I'm just throwing in as many Taylor Swift lyrics as I can.
I was like, what is that Swift? That doesn't make sense. But now it does because it's a Taylor Swift lyric. So here we go. Now we know. So what's crazy about all of this stuff is there was a statement that Justin had made with his lawsuit where he had said that all of this negative press was coming at Blake, and he was approached by Ryan Reynolds asking him to essentially take the fall on the sword, so to speak. Basically, coming out and saying that she's so great and so wonderful.
He's like,
sacrificing
nah.
Yeah. That's basically what I took away from it. The way that it was described was essentially like, "Hey, you should do this thing, and it will really be helpful for Blake because she's going through a hard time right now." But what's crazy is, while all of this negative press is coming out about Blake, Justin's team is slowly starting to get framed as that they're doing it. And this New York Times thing comes out, well, all of those edited messages is because they were seeing the negative press and were like, "Oh my God." Well, they had just worked with this individual over the last year plus to film. And it turns out she was making creative edits. She was making wardrobe edits. Like, for example, they had a budget of like $100,000 or $115,000 or something for their wardrobe. She came in, took over, and it was up to $615,000. There was actually a memo that was sent out saying, "We need to get this under control. Like, she's
That's
blowing our
crazy.
budget." Plus, I thought it was her stuff.
Yeah. She was just probably buying herself a new closet.
She had made claims that Justin had been, at one point, like, sniffing her in a scene and, like, saying that she
I did
smelled good
watch
and was creepy.
that video.
I'm gonna put a little clip here just of the section, and it's only going to be the part that she's saying he was being creepy, that when I watch it, I see it as just they're talking because keep in mind, this is supposed to be a still shot, but they're talking in the background, but in the movie, in the scene, you can't hear them.
It's music.
So they're kind of conversating with each other, and what's funny about it too is she is directing the whole thing, not as the director, but as an annoyance.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with that video.
So if she made claims with that, that was kind of debunked when his team released that. Then they released the full text messages and feeds because all of this negative press is coming out about her and they're saying, "Oh my God, look at this. she's doing this to herself, but they edited out certain segments, making it look like they were saying, "We're gonna destroy her," or "This will destroy her," or things like that when there were messages in between there. That's crazy to me. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
She had made claims that he had gone into her trailer while she was breastfeeding, and then it turns out he reveals the text messages between them where she had said, "I'm in the trailer. We should review our lines." He said, "I'm having lunch with the crew." And she says, "Well, I'm in the trailer breastfeeding. You can come on in." And he was like, "Well, I can come back later then." And she was like, "No, it's fine." She's totally fine with it. The intimacy coordinator situation, they made all these claims about demanding that there be an intimacy coordinator and he was all inappropriate. They had intimacy coordinators. They had meetings set up with this individual, and she didn't go to them and refused to. So Justin did and was instructed to then work with her on the side, which she agreed to discuss the way that these scenes should go and then implement them. So these pornographic conversations she's saying that they're having really aren't.
Even the intimacy coordinator in some of those sexier scenes, like we saw you.
That shouldn't be happening, by the way. I just want to be clear that you should not be the intimacy coordinator. You should definitely hire intimacy coordinators, which we did have. Thank goodness.
You were teaching Justin how to pull you in.
Where have you seen
that.
this?
What a job that would be.
An intimacy coordinator? I don't even like the word.
That'd
What
be
would
interesting.
you put this little flap over there and, try to think about dead kittens so you guys don't make it awkward for the rest of the movie? I don't know. I've seen some pretty bad scenes. I'm assuming
Yeah,
that they were coordinators, but I've seen some scenes where I'm like, "That's not how it works." I hope
right.
nobody watches this and thinks that this
Yeah.
is how that works.
They'll be very confused.
Yes, and disappointed maybe, or
Yeah.
not disappointed, but
Yeah.
nonetheless. So there were a lot of things that were crazy that she was making claims about that they've already kind of countered and basically debunked. Another thing was he was sensitive about his nose. Whatever. He
I
was
saw
sensitive
that
about his
too.
nose, and there's an actual recording of her making fun of his nose. Like,
Saying to go use insurance money or something to get his
yeah,
nose job
it's
done.
unhinged. And
Yeah.
then let's talk about the red carpet for this and the premiere for this. Justin gets stuffed in the basement
Yeah.
with his family and friends.
Yep.
Doesn't even get to do the real premiere. And all of this was because of the things that Blake wanted to do. All of these changes to the movie, all of the edits. She was trying to get cuts of the film ahead of time, dailies, which are like the daily filmings and all of the unedited material. She was trying to get a hold of all of this stuff and now files this suit. And what's really crazy is she did an interview with Colleen Hoover where they were talking about there's going to be an if it ends with us too or whatever.
There's a second book.
And what's crazy about it is she says she would love to do that at some point. And to me, it feels like they're trying to steal the rights of this movie. Like she's trying to criminally prosecute or have him sued and prosecuted to the extent that she's going to then get the rights so she can do whatever she wants with this. But also, I think that Ryan Reynolds, always loved him as an actor, all of the things. But as things have been coming up, I think he might just be crazy, and I feel like Blake maybe, got feelings for Justin because Justin's an actual really nice guy, it seems like, and
Yeah.
clearly Ryan Reynolds isn't. And somebody brought up some things, recently on a video I was watching where they were bringing up the fact that you can be funny and poke fun at your spouse and stuff, but, he's legitimately, almost one step too far.
Yeah.
Like
Or it's rude.
yeah, it's him, his son, and her in a picture, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "The two of the most incredible people that I know." And then there's Blake. It's funny. It is funny, okay? I'm not gonna lie, but it's also really messed up, dude, and I'm pretty sure, like, you shouldn't do that with your spouse. Like, what the fuck? Like, all the time. Or,
Yeah.
like, he's like, "Wow, what a wonderful day." Like, he did some type of, like, music collab or something with someone, like, on Blake's birthday and, like, posted it, did all this stuff, but then was like, didn't say anything really about her birthday. Like, he's like, "What
Yeah.
a crazy day to be able to do this," and blah, blah. Then it was just like, "Oh, yeah, by the way, happy birthday, Blake."
Yeah.
I feel like she puts up with it and whatnot, but then it was like also, he left Scarlett Johansson for Blake Lively. Anybody else looking at this as a downgrade or just me?
Yeah, ScarJo. I like her.
I do too, but I feel like I don't know, man. I think she's probably sad and whatever, and maybe she started catching feelings, and they had a lot of messages together, and everybody was saying early on that they got along really well and all of these things. They had good chemistry, and maybe around a little jail bill.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
he's
can see it. I'd be jealous.
of, of Justin Baldoni.
If I was Ryan Reynolds, sure.
Mm, I don't know. Blake seems so basic. I just don't feel like, you know what I mean?
Right. She's really pretty.
Maybe it's because she's such a bitch. I have a heart. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm like, I
Really?
guess. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say
Yeah.
she's ugly, but I'm like,
Yeah, her personality kind of ruins it.
yeah, especially with how she's being and then seeing her red carpet interviews and stuff. It's just bad, you guys. It's bad. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, my thought is that I think Justin I hope he wins in all of this and I hope she loses big. And for anybody out there who thinks it's acceptable to twist something in any way, and should I be proven otherwise and she was actually, whatever, I'll take it
I don't
back.
think she does.
But I don't either. I think she's crying wolf, and that minimizes the experience of anybody else who has been through something like that. That's not okay. And she did try and save her ass.
And Taylor Swift will remain innocent.
She's been named in the lawsuit, so I don't think that that's going to happen, dude.
It will.
We can hope, but you know. So, any last thoughts from you? What do you think?
I don't think Taylor Swift's gonna take Blake to the Super Bowl.
What are your predictions for the Super Bowl? See, because this will be up after, and we'll see if you were right. Who are you rooting
The
for?
Chiefs are gonna win. I'm rooting for the Chiefs.
Why?
What? Because the other ones are just birds. Like, I don't know anything about them. Who's their quarterback? Don't tell me.
Jalen Hurts.
I told you not to tell me.
You ask, and I start answering, and then immediately you start saying, "Don't tell me." I don't know what to do with that.
I did play Super Bowl trivia yesterday. Guess how many
Did you?
questions I got right?
How many questions were there?
Like 30.
Oh, dang. Did you have an opportunity to answer all 30?
Yes.
7.
Wow. No, I didn't get any right.
None?
No.
You got a goose egg, dude?
I think I actually got negative points.
How?
That's how
You
they
answered
play.
one of them with a hockey answer, and there were, like, immediately demerits, additional minus.
One of their questions was like, during this Super Bowl game, what happened before? I don't remember, but it was like
I don't even
a
remember the question.
it was like a touchdown happened before a kickoff or something, or a kickoff happened before a touchdown or something. But the question was phrased like, "Oh, this happened before the game even started." I was like, "Snow!" Like it snowed or something, and they're like, "No, it was a touchdown. It was like a touchdown before a kickoff, something like that." I don't know, but I was wrong.
Oh. You said
Oh, I did
no.
get.
Just like, you're just yelling stuff out. They're like, not even close.
I did almost get one right because they're like, which teams lost 5 times going to the Super Bowl? I'm like, the Bills, but I think they've only lost 4.
Yeah. Thanks for
So,
that.
you're welcome.
Well, I hope everybody knows that I'm a Bills fan. If you didn't, now you do. And we were very disappointed with the referees giving Kansas City, not surprised, just disappointed, giving Kansas City the win. But my friend here, allegedly, whatever, she says she's my friend. But she let me know that she was not rooting for the Bills. So then I said, you know what? It's okay. I get it. However, when the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, because we all know how this is going to go, it's a conspiracy. Can you at least root for the Eagles? And I was pretty sure you said yes.
I'd like to see the receipts, please. If you can find them, put them right here.
I don't know if this was via text. I think you know that this was a conversation, but I will try to retrieve it. I will try to recover it. And if I do, will you switch to root for the Birds? I mean, otherwise you're rooting for an Arrowhead. You know that, right?
Yes, but it's Taylor Swift's boyfriend. And I like, what's his name? Isaiah Pacheco. See, I actually know players.
Pacheco is really good. I thought you were going to say somebody else, and I was going to remove you from this call. Yeah. Oh God, he's just the worst, dude.
He sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Even if he didn't, he could sound like anyone. He's annoying. He's not that good. He's all right. He's all right.
No, I disagree. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Well, yeah, with the refs on his side for sure, dude.
Okay.
Why do you think the NFL's looking into flopping? Huh? Why do you think the NFL's looking into flopping?
You're just a jaded Bills fan. Maybe next year you guys will get to the Super Bowl and lose. Fingers crossed.
I hope you burn in hell. Not the audience, though. So I don't think I said this at all. I forgot to tell you, we do have a sponsor now. So we're going to break away for a little sponsor met. Just kidding. We absolutely don't have a sponsor.
We should get a sponsor. That'd be awesome. I'll go get someone from like the car wash or something.
That not really like the sponsorship. No, but of course, we do want to thank you guys for stopping by, having this very disoriented, disorganized conversation about the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama with us. Please make sure to like, subscribe, do all the things. It's like a code.
I don't know where the subscribe
Bruno
is.
Mars over here throwing up a set.
Where is it?
Well, I could put it in. You keep moving, so now I guess no matter what, it'll eventually be where you're pointing because you're pointing everywhere.
I'm like the girl on the big comfy couch. Did you ever watch that show?
No, I don't think so.
Insert picture here. Big comfy couch.
Was it an actual show called Big Comfy Couch?
Yes. You think I made that up?
Why do you ask me that as if it's out of the question that you could have potentially made this up?
She has dust bunnies. I'm going to get them as a tattoo.
Dust bunnies?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's just look at this real quick. What did you say it was? Big couch? Big comfy couch?
Comfy couch. Big comfy couch. You never watched
Oh my God, this lady is terrifying.
I used to have her as a doll. I think I still do, actually. But she used to sit on the carpet with the clock and
That's the big comfy couch? It looks like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but she would lay on the rug and then she'd use her legs to be the clock. So that's what I was doing.
Oh, well, I'm glad you chose to use your arms and not your legs for all of our sakes, for safety purposes.
Big boy.
Imagine if you just Flew back.
I
I
pulled
would
a
literally
hamstring.
You can't come into
Sorry.
work tomorrow. My hamster's pulled.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, I certainly had a good time. I really hope you guys did too. We will be back in 2 weeks. I know it was 3 this time. Turns out we forgot bi-weekly meant that we were supposed to come in 2 weeks, not film bi-weekly and then upload. So eventually we'll get it right.
Math is hard.
It is. But until next time.
Farewell.
No, she's not.
No, I can't. I need to rubber band my. I'm gonna rubber band my fingers for like a week.
I
and see if
expect to see your ears and your fingers rubber banded in the next one.
And
Absolutely.
then I'll go. Goodbye. Farewell.
Oh, that wasn't a good song.
Farewell.
Is that real? Is that
Yeah. It's like a hairball.
Oh God. Well, we'll leave it at that. We'll let you die off camera.
That'd be sad.